That wasn't part of our deal, Blackheart! That wasn't part!
G'day everyone, Eric here, and it's ComicCon season. Previews everywhere, and I'm closely following Mattel's showings. Despite what you'd think from this channel's high volume of Transformers content, WWE and Masters of the Universe have the majority of my attention these days. And oh boy, has Mattel annoyed me on both sides this week. Mattel showed off their big crowdfunder for Masters of the Universe, due to go live next month, the Snake Lair. This is, as the name implies, a lair for the Snake Men faction. If just taken by itself, it looks great. The aesthetics are really appealing, like they went back to the original Jungle playset, the prototype for Snake Mountain, rebuilt it from the ground up, and included a vehicle. Said vehicle is based on an unproduced vintage vehicle meant for King Hiss, called the Rattletrap, which is a really neat inclusion. Unfortunately, that's where the niceties end for the Snake Lair. The Snake Lair is the result of a fan vote from late 2023. The Motu team presented 5 vehicles and playsets: the Fright Zone, a Filmation attack track, the Horde Crawler tank, the Filmation Doom Tower, and the Snake Lair. The Snake Lair won, but wasn't without controversy. The current Motu team has a big thing for the Snake Men, and has for a while now. The fan vote was done just as the line was swinging hard into the Snake Men theme, and since then we've seen multiple Mattel Creation exclusive Snake Men, in addition to hard to find store exclusive Snake Men, and Origins waves filled with Snake Men. Now Turtles of Grayskull is pushing hard into the Snake Men too. They just won't stop. It was commonly speculated at the time that the vote was just smoke and mirrors. The team always intended to make the Snake Lair over the other sets, including the Fright Zone that desperately needs a remake due to the original toy being both fragile and rotting, depending on the specific parts. The real purpose of the fan vote was for the team at Mattel to build good faith with the community and deflect blame from the flood of Snake product they intended to produce, something that has somehow gotten worse in the past 10 months. The Snake Lair presented was from Masters of the Universe Classics, as a hypothetical vintage playset. The original context was a version of Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain for the Snake Men, including the form factor. Reasonably sized, clamshell design. Full disclosure, I personally voted for the Snake Lair. Castle Grayskull is a fantastic playset, one of the greatest of all time, and as presented, the Snake Lair would have complemented both Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain while not being too expensive or space consuming. Shame that's not what we got. The Snake Lair shown at San Diego Comic-Con 2024 is a complete reimagination of the concept art. Some elements transferred over, the entrance, the gun, the Iron Maiden, they all carry over, but the overall set and form factor has been completely changed. It's barely even recognisable as the same playset from the concept art, with some of the components, like the handle and stairs, completely missing. It's become absolutely massive, and seemingly trying to incorporate all of the action features from both Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull. It's gone from a counterpart to Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain to a counterpart to Castle Turnia. I share the views many people have echoed in the Motu community. This isn't what I voted for. What I voted for was more reasonable and exactly what I wanted. What Mattel has presented at Comic-Con, on the other hand, is excessive and extravagant. It's clearly what the designers wanted to do over anything else. If I'd known this is what they intended to make over what was initially presented, I wouldn't have voted for it. I'm not going to back it either. Being a large playset, a large vehicle, and a figure, the price point is likely to be close to or match Turnia. I don't have the funds or space for this. I didn't back Turnia for the same reason either. Part of the charm of Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain is that you can pack it up and it doesn't take up much space at all. It's a design that is conscientious of the audience. The clamshell may be a conservative design, but it offers a lot of play value when pulled off correctly. They're also just the right size. Castle Grayskull is a well-designed set that hits the mark. That's why the Snake Lair being made in its image was a selling point. I'm curious as to whether this will hit the mark. Turnia didn't hit 10,000 units, despite the fact it has a history as the largest vintage playset and the original being produced in very small numbers. It was a good substitute for the original toy, which is extremely expensive on today's market. The Snake Lair has no such history, and people are sick to death of the snakes. It may only have to hit 5,000 units, but can it do it without that nostalgic, emotional component Turnia had? It'll be interesting to see. I think it would also be reasonable to speculate that Turnia may be the reason why the Snake Lair became so large. With the success of Turnia, even though it didn't reach all of its goals, that may have pushed the team to match that kind of success with a similarly priced item. You did it once, you can do it again, from the management, or the team is just trying to impress management. Either way, I would be inclined to believe Turnia had some influence over how the Snake Lair turned out. Finally, just want to touch on the included figure, what seems to be a skeletal Lady Slither. What is the point of this? Was there anything in story implying she'd be coming back as what I presume is a zombie? There seems to be a story that the team wants to tell, but only has the mini-comics to do it. It feels so pointless. If you're buying the Snake Lair, you're probably buying it for the Lady Slither you already own. There seems to be at least 4 other Snake Men they could have chosen over Lady Slither, with priorities. Looks cool, but not a sales point like unique Snake Men would be. Just get the Snake Men over and done with. We're all sick of it. Mattel really fumbled the ball with this one. The whole affair looks manipulative and deceptive, with the end result being radically different to what was initially presented. As I said, I'm not happy with what they did, and I'm speaking with my wallet. No Snake Lair for me. So what about you? How do you feel about the Snake Lair and how things have turned out? Tell me in the comments. Also, if you're curious, the other thing that annoyed me is the much anticipated Ultimate Rhea Ripley in black with longer hair being tied to an expensive ring I have no interest in. That pissed me off. I hope we get a similar one at normal retail sooner rather than later. Till next time friends, this has been Eric from Toys Down Under, and thanks for watching.